how we work with kinesiology and doing a kinesiology balance. So you may or may not heard, I have this model where I call it the 4 phases of a kinesiology balance. I don't know if you've seen this before. So the first is the client's issue. So, and that is defined by the client. You do not work on something that the client's not ready to work on. They might have it, they might be clear they have an issue. They need to be regulated. I even had one of my sponsors. She never would participate in the 10-day chakra hologram when I used to teach it over in Europe. And she goes, and I asked her why not. And she goes, I've got my issues. I know what they are, and I don't want them to come out now. So I'm not doing that course. And you know what? Fair enough. It's not up to you to decide when the client's ready to work with it. You can say, well, this is showing, are you ready to work with it? But it's got to be their thing that they're ready to work with. So the issue has to be defined by the client. First step. So if you don't have time, you've got the same issue. Okay, so first step, it's the same. Same client, same issue. Step 2, the setup. And Richard Upman's a bloody genius at this. I mean, I watched him like 2 times I went to Tucson. And when he would do his demos and stuff like that, especially the first time, I think the second time it wasn't so big. But the way he would do setups just blew my mind. He even had when he was balancing people's hearts, he would give them this sort of supplement that causes the heart to pump faster. And he would do things like this, and like it's really genius how he would do it. And so what I come to understand the setup means is the setup is putting the client's issue into the language of kinesiology. That's how I define it. So for example, if someone could say, I've got a sore finger, right? There's my sore finger. That's my issue. Oh, can you balance my finger for me? Okay, so how are you going to set it up? Well, you might wiggle it, activate it. You can physically manipulate it. You can set a goal, like, how would you like to feel, Hugo? I would like to feel it's possible that my finger heals. Okay, we can make a goal out of that. We might have some formats. Oh yeah, I've got some formats from structure that I could use, some ligament ones, some bone ones, some cartilage, maybe some skin. It's swollen, I've got edema, so maybe I could use some formats out of the immune system. So that would all be my setup. But once I've defined my setup for that client and that issue, right, then I keep note of that. Stage 3 is the balance. Like yesterday, we did a long balance. And then stage 4 is the correction. I call it the cherry on top. And, and that's what I did today. Like yesterday, Carrie defined her issue. I did a setup. And we found some goals. That's a very easy one to do. Just set a goal, that's set up. And then you can retest it. We retested it at the end and it was good. Felt really good. And then we did the balance. So if you have these balance, a big balance, so you've got your client, they come in with their issue. You might even have like a long 1.5, I don't know how long you do your balances for. Say you've got 90 minutes, say, and that's a lot of time to do a balance, but you haven't finished, but it's the end of the session. So you need to finish the session. And because you still have to be a professional kinesiologist and you might have another client coming. So you can't you can't balance someone for 4 hours. It's just not possible. I mean, it might be, you might book them for that, but not many people do. I mean, I wouldn't be able to keep my attention span that long, honestly. And so then you have to complete the balance. So you do whatever it shows, then you do your correction. Client might come back a week or two later. You want to continue how's it gone? So they've now lived for a week or two, their energy systems have shifted. And often when you do a deep balance, people's energy systems are shifting for days, even into the weeks, you know. So they've had all those energy shifts, they've found new equilibrium, their systems found you remove stress, because for me, kinesiology is a stress management system. You take all this stress out of the system, and now you're balancing them to see, and then you've balanced them. So now they've found a new equilibrium and they've started healing because so things have changed. So a week or two later, if you put the same issue in with the same setup for the same client, then see what shows. Because it might say, oh, let's do chakras now. Or, oh no, all this, or they might come in, I've just been so emotional, I've been so angry for the last week, I'm like, blah, 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 and you thought, better do a naps, yeah, bit of rage happening there, let's do a naps balance on you, and to calm that out. So you just have to see where it goes, but the thing is, if you use the same setup for the same issue for the same client, you're following the integrity of the pathway, and actually, what starts to tell you a story is the actual sequence of balances. Like, because you might say, okay, you've got an issue. First balance, brain integration of the occipital lobe, not integrating visual things well, you know. Then the next balance was rage, just all this anger come up, you know, and whatever their issue was. And then the next balance might be, I don't know, it could be immune system or something even completely off, you know, completely different. Or structural, but the sequence of balances you've done in itself tells a story about the client's issue. And they're all things you can use to help interpret the client's issue and actually get them to actually, because you've always got to get them to pop it up, you know, get them to say it and get them to actually helps them understand their issue deeper. Like as my teacher used to say, the power is making the unknown known. And even we use that as the MK tagline, make the unknown known. And it came from my teacher. And it's so powerful. And by doing that way, it really does help you bring it up, you know. And,
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that anyway. It's just that when you go so deep into each area of the brain, I guess you could ask in the next session, is the issue still there? Has there not been any improvement? And then you might end up going back into a different Brodmann's area this time.
Absolutely. Just, you know, keep your mind open. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.